This is things you might not have heard. I am Jake from Payne, and in the queue today, racist text, also Bronny James and the 4B movement. You want to know about that one, plus seven other stories from 10 stories vetted from you the past weekend that were conversational. You said are worth chatting up. So let's chat them up here. Why don't we? They cover information, politics, current events, and pop culture news. We've got these stories, how the whole vetting process works after we get through all the headlines. But first, let me remind you that our website, this is conversationproject.com, where you can find out more details about how we do this stuff and the why behind it. And of course, you can always email us with your comments, your concerns, and complaints at the conversation inbox at gmail.com. Like I said, 10 stories right here in the script. So let's get into them right now, get things going. Starting off with headline number one. Oh, if I not said so far, so far, got that part. It's Monday, November the 11th, 2024. Happens to be Veterans Day. So if you are one who's served like myself, thank you so much for your service and go get you some free grub today because there's a lot of that going on. Let's get to the news headlines, starting off with a story that came in late last week. And by the time I had a chance to post it, we had to wait to see what to talk about. Um, and we're going to talk about it. But it got to be one of those things that was kind of hit scratchers. One of those things where retribution is coming, but from the wrong side, kind of proving the point. Headline for story number one: FEMA supervisor fired under investigation after allegedly advising team to avoid homes with Trump signs. Yes, from the robot editor who had this story here, how it came down through our chat GPT edit to quick read the stories. A federal emergency management agency, FEMA, supervisor was terminated after allegedly instructing her team to avoid inspecting homes displaying signs supporting President-elect Donald Trump in a Florida town affected by Hurricane Milton. The supervisor, Army Washington, reportedly advised her team to skip these homes during their relief efforts. FEMA Administrator Deanne Christing uh, condemned the action, saying that such conduct is reprehensible and does not reflect the agency's commitment to impartial disaster assistance. Washington has responded to allegations claiming that she is being used as a scapegoat and asserting that her instructions were intended to protect her team from hostile encounters, not discriminate based on political affiliation. It did not quite work out so well. She called for investigation into that matter as well. And this, of course, sparked discussions about the importance of impartiality in disaster relief operations and challenges faced by relief workers in politically charged environments. 2 years ago, when my neighborhood was hit by a tornado and FEMA came in and the government came in to help and did some help, I guess. It wasn't quite the same thing because we weren't quite in the true political season. Yeah, that we've been running for office, run for office, for 2 years prior, but it wasn't quite where it was. You can see where the heated discussion and the heated rhetoric at the end of the season, or in truly in the season while this is happening, could be. But still, but still, but still, it's ridiculous. Her taking that action, Washington taking that action, say, "Oh, don't go to the Trump houses because they'll probably be mad and angry," was stupid. Headline for story number two: New York City is ending its voucher program that allowed migrant workers to buy their own food. New York City is concluding its program, a pilot program they had that provided prepaid debit cards to migrant families in city funded hotels, enabling them to purchase their own food. The initiative began in March, aimed to replace the distribution of non perishable food boxes with a more flexible system. Essentially, instead of having them come someplace and have them packed in boxes, they just go to the store and buy the food themselves. City officials noted the program was more cost effective, estimating it saved approximately $600,000 per month compared to the previous method because you didn't have to bring in volunteers, pack the food, do other distribution. But as the city transitions to more competitive contracting for asylum seekers and the programs, the decision was made to not renew this program going forward. This contract is now ending up after its term is done in January. How will they get their food? Something will come up in January as more people are basically being vetted to be more competitive, i.e., more people seeking asylum who can actually take care of themselves off the bat instead of dealing with loads of people just brought in from various places. That is the plan. That is the hope. We shall see if that's what the follow through follows through to. Story number three this morning. Sean Diddy Combs again requests release from jail, but with new conditions. This headline we posted on Friday, so it took a long time for it to get here. I don't think any really change happened from the headline being posted and us talking about it this morning. But Sean Diddy Combs is currently detained in Brooklyn Metropolitan Detention Center on charges including racketeering and sex trafficking. We know that. He submitted another request renewing a bail request with enhanced conditions. This marks his fourth attempt to get pretrial release, and trying to get past the notorious denials, which obviously have been denied. The updated proposal includes a $50 million bond secured by properties, 24/7 monitoring approved by security personnel, restricted internet and phone access so they can know who he's talking to and what he's looking up, and pre-approved visitor list. Combs' legal team argues that these measures addresses concerns about flight risk and witness tampering while also facilitating a better trial preparation for their client. If they can see their client in normal conditions and have vertical conversations, they can prepare for the trial better. Also, if there's armed guards hanging outside and make sure Diddy don't go no place, Diddy probably won't go anyplace. And if they have monitoring on his phones and the internet, maybe he can't send emails and texts and phone calls to people to kind of scare them off. Maybe, as we said, it's the fourth attempt to try to get a pre-release with some sort of bond, $50 million up front, based on properties right now. We'll see if this one's going to work or whether Diddy stays behind bar for even longer, prepping for this trial, which may take a while to get to. And this is one trial, one of many different cases that are being yelled at him. All the various sexual harassment suits are separate. This is just racketeering and sex trafficking. The assault suits, totally different ballgame. We posted the story and got the update a few hours later. It took a while for us to get to the story as she was missing for a little bit. But the story was one that caught national attention, and luckily it was solved fairly quickly after we posted it. And you still have engaged in it, so we're giving you an update. Missing Wylie, Texas woman found safe by local residents. On Friday, November the 4th, November the 8th, day, about 5:15 p.m., 46-year-old Melanie Valentine was found near Abbey Lane and Tyler Trail in Wylie, Texas, by a local resident. She was really dehydrated, but otherwise in good health. After receiving some medical attention, she was reunited with her family. She'd been missing since November the 3rd when she left her home without a car or her phone. And the police department expressed their gratitude and everyone helped with the search, especially the people who found her on Friday evening. Now, the thing about this is the circumstances around her disappearance are still under investigation. As of now, it's been 3 days since she's been found. No one still has any public word on what's going on. Authorities say they are still looking into this one, but they're not putting out any information at this time. And the community played a role in this. There were flyers, there were search parties, things going on, and the Wylie Police Department is very happy that this is done. But they're also asking for privacy for the family as they get back to family things. Our fifth story for this morning. Quick break for a pause in a moment, but getting to this fifth story, as we teased, this is another story that popped up late in the week yesterday. And of course, now we got a weekend to talk about it. The story itself has sort of died down, but the sentence behind it still pretty heavy. Racist text messages referencing slavery raised alarms in multiple states and prompt investigations. When I originally posted this, I didn't go deep into detail. I posted it as a teaser story before, and it didn't go into detail. I thought it was randomish. I thought it wasn't targeted, but apparently it was targeted a lot closer than it was. And the people who received these who were obviously pretty pissed off they got them. So someone kind of knew where they're going to and what they were going on. And in fact, it led to closing the classes at some campuses where many of these texts were sent to students out there, and many parents not quite happy with the safety of their children. Numerous Black individuals across various states received these racist text messages invoking slavery, causing widespread concern, and prompting investigations. Um, they have been sent to Black men, Black women, students, and raising alarms nationwide on how they're going. They're going to Black people. They're not just random fish. They're going to Black people in clusters where many people can actually see them and engage them. Federal authorities are currently investigating these incidents to determine the origin and prevent further occurrences. As far as I can tell, they died down over the weekend, so there wasn't many more text in many mass numbers past Friday. Was the story for engagement, but throughout the early part of last week, or essentially right after the election of Donald Trump, which is essentially where the trigger came from and why these things aren't funny, these texts started coming to people. People started getting worried, a little angry, and just sort of scratching heads on why people do these things. Why do they do these things? Because it's funny, and obviously it's not. Let's take a pause from the news. Five more stories from the weekend that you deemed this conversation, and we'll explain why we have so many stories on this Monday and lesser on the rest of the week. When we get to the conversation, this teaser story part where we talk about how the stories get people forward this engagement. But we want to remind you that this is a labor of love, a labor that's labor, a labor that is intensive what is going on. So in order to make sure the labor is worth it. We need more people in the conversation. We believe because we keep doing it. We're trying to put out more great news and better coverage and stories that are ones that do get missed when you're dealing with the mainstream media. So we give you some stories that are out there being pushed, but we also give you stories with commentary that's hopefully sobering. And if you don't like what I have to say, we can still have a conversation about this. This may seem like a monologue broadcast, but it is a conversation as you do help pick the stories we talk about. So for your help to get more people engaged, we need you to like video, like our audios, like our other work out there, so that people will see what we're providing is fairly good stuff and we'll get more engagement there. Plus, it is also a mark that we're doing good things for you guys. The more likes we get from you guys, we know we're doing something well. Share it with folks who are like-minded, who like the news this way, who like the commentary this way, or maybe they don't like the news this way and commentary this way and want someone to be angry at. Anger Angry conversations, those work too. We can work those as well. We can have some fights and some spiffs and go back and forth. But as long as we're having these conversations, as long as we are engaging, it's all good. And if you're not currently subscribed to what you have, if you found us in an algorithm or someone shared this with you and you like this and want to share it with more folks, you'd probably want to subscribe to get these things directly in your feed. Now, we do this show here, things you might not have heard at 5 a.m. or 5 a.m. I'm sorry, 5:30 a.m. Central Time every single weekday morning. So if you're up that early, whatever time zone you are, you can get us live and chat with us live anytime you want to and chat on the stories there. Otherwise, let us know where you're watching it, when you're watching it, so we need more things to make sure we're engaging for stuff that you want to, whether it's live, whether it's on the replay. Keep more people watching, keep more people engaged. Serious transition back into the news here. Let's go to headline number 6. Zach Bryan's ex-girlfriend, Brianna LaPaglia, accuses him of emotional abuse, trying to silence her with an NDA. This is a story that's been in the news. Takes a while to pick up for a bit, for a while. We finally got it in there. To be honest, it was a filler story because I'm not the biggest fan of Zach Bryan, so I'm not really following his career. And this one got so much engaged. This was the second highest engaged story over the weekend, and the numbers were by bonkers numbers. Brianna LaPaglia, who's as Brianna Chicken Fry, has accused her boyfriend, country singer Zach Bryan, of emotional abuse and attempting to silence her with a non-disclosure agreement. In a recent episode of BFF podcast, LaPaglia claimed that Bryan offered her $12 million to sign an NDA, preventing her from starting a relationship, which ended last month. She also alleges that during their one-year relationship, Bryan was emotionally abusive to her. And after the breakup, LaPaglia stated that Bryan blocked her and her Barstool Sports colleagues on social media. In response, her co-host released a diss track titled "Smallest Man," because that's what you do these days, criticizing Bryan. Bryan has not publicly responded to any of these allegations yet. We will see what his people will say going forward. The debut has arrived. Not Bronny James playing for the Lakers because it happened and it was underwhelming. It was a debut for the G League for the South Bay Lakers, not the Los Angeles Lakers, as he made his first appearance Saturday night in the game for South Bay. Now, the son of LeBron James Jr. made his G League debut on Saturday on November 9th, 2024, starting with the South Bay Lakers. So it's been a while. It's been a few days. We've had some time to process and take it in. Contributed with 6 points, 3 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 steals, 110-96 victory in the win over the Salt Lake City Stars. Now, underwhelming. So, yeah, 6 points, great. He scored his first points just 43 seconds into the game and a 17-foot jumper, so it looked great. But overall, he was just a player. Now, what's happening right now, people are reflecting on his skills and how he's playing right now, and it's turning less into a this guy is terrible to a this guy's not that good, but there is some help be possible. He doesn't seem to be anything like a superstar. He doesn't seem to be LeBron James's number 2. He's not the Robin to a Batman by any means, but he might be a serviceable player, a nice backup, a bench guy who will come in and clean up when it needs to going forward. If he can pick up a couple extra skills and just be patient, and if teams can be patient with him. Will he be on a Lakers team that wins a championship with his father, even though he's the 12th guy down the bench? We shall see. That's mostly based on all the other dudes on the team. Now, remember, it's not about beating the last guy on the team to make that bench time. You got to beat the first guy. You got to knock everybody down to make sure you have some impact. So just being better than Bronny James doesn't make a difference. You got to be better than somebody way up the roster to make that difference on the Lakers, either Lakers, if you will. His Jiggly career may be a thing that may be a bit for a while. Maybe he can run it up in the G League, maybe he star, something like that. I just had a story the other day about a star who basically spent 10 years in the G League. He goes up every couple of years and plays a couple games for a major team, but essentially he's been playing professional basketball on the minor league level for 10 years and making fairly good money for it. So the G League does help in those cases. Does it help you progress? Bronny James is the biggest guy with eyeballs on him right now, so we'll see what happens in his career. Let's go to Michelle Beadle and something she did that was very, 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 very bad. The NBA analyst accidentally used the N word during a broadcast, and fans got into it. A recent live broadcast of the NBA show Run It Back, sports broadcaster Michelle Beadle was talking about the Denver Nuggets, but actually dropped the other word that started with an N while discussing player Michael Porter Jr.'s comments about the team. Slip occurred as she was analyzing the team's performance, and the incident escalated quickly. Attention from fans reacting to social media. Many expressed surprise and concern over the unintended slur because it's unattended. So most people weren't basically blasting her for calling him a blank, but they were blasting her for just not having control of her language. She's not publicly addressed the incident as of when we posted this article. There's no updates to the article, so fairly embarrassed. Won't be released for this one, but this is one of those things where words matter, and guys like me who talk on microphones, often have to make sure we're paying attention to what we're paying attention to and aren't being distracted, because these little distractions in the heat of battle when you're talking things up, unfortunately, can happen. What also happened, fortunately or unfortunately, is this incident here, where Meghan Markle and Prince Harry made a joint statement. And they admit we're at a crossroads, not where you think, not where you want to be in their work. Prince Harry and Meghan Markle recently made a rare joint appearance, delivering a video message to United Nations conference in Colombia. In their address, they acknowledged being, quote, at a crossroads, unquote, in their efforts to combat online child exploitation, emphasizing the urgency of protecting children in the digital age. This marks their first public appearance since several months together going forward. And the couple highlighted the need for immediate action and safeguard children from the digital violence, reflecting the ongoing commitment to their cause. And that's where the issue is, in their cause. Now, many people were thinking, so the headlines came up, they're at a crossroads because they're not famous anymore and nobody cares. Part of that is that they may think they're at a crossroads because their relationship is faltering because they're not famous anymore and nobody cares. There may be something to that. But what we're really dealing with, what they're really talking about, is the fact that what they're doing, the work's going on, isn't quite as effective as they'd like to be. If you've done anything with childhood causes, anything with internet causes, trying to keep the internet safe, and the combination, or if you have a child who is on the internet and you're freaking out about it, like this guy right here, you can see how it's an issue. And just saying a lot of words and being kind of famous and initiating a public campaign doesn't always help. The joint statement comes amid various public engagements and personal developments, reaffirming their focus on advocacy and humanitarian work, and underlining score, the thing that's being not said out loud. They're doing okay as people, as a couple, so let them be there as they're trying to get this work done. Story at number 10. And I was a little hesitant to get into it, but I posted it because I was curious, and I got really curious, read more of it, got really curious. And this is one that I know Anderson Cooper's not covering tonight, so we got it for you here. Well, Blitzer can't touch this one. Rachel Maddow, she's ballsy. She's not this ballsy. Trump's election has women swearing off sex with men. Let that work for you for a second. Give it a couple seconds. Marinate. I'll take a sip of coffee to hydrate, so I don't do any weird nonverbal slurs or anything like that. Okay, got it. Okay. The story is actually pretty short. The work behind it's actually short, but guess what? Following Donald Trump's recent election victory, almost a week or so as of tomorrow, would say, some American women are adopting the 4B movement, a feminist initiative originating from South Korea. I guess there are definitely singing that one out very well. That one it won't get any tariffs, unfortunately. The 4B movement encourages women to abstain from sex, dating, marriage, and childbirth with men as a form of protest against perceived misogyny and patriarchal structures. Surge in interest reflects concerns over reproductive rights and gender equality in the current political climate. Now, to put a bow on this one, this is right now we're hearing all different people, all the resistance still being out there, people still sort of fighting the power that is what they expect to happen when the new regime, I say that, tongue in cheek, but as President Trump becomes President Trump again, we had the story that blew up over the weekend, clip from Friday about Stephanie Ruhle was talking about the nation just after around about to find out. We had the headline coming in for Ann Seltzer, who she could do it longer if I respect. And Seltzer, who put out the poll, they said Iowa wasn't in play and that Harris could actually win it, to be totally wrong all the way. We've had a lot of stories of people nanny boo boo stuff for the one side, and the oh God, I'm really am moving to Canada stuff for the other side. Let's not get it twisted. Let's not get too upset on this one. We're going to be all right. This nation will live. And while many things may seem like a push to the 2025 project things that Trump said he isn't doing, there's still a lot of work to keep out of that one. Last week, we used my new book, the Now What Network Manifesto, just sort of hopefully get you guys jazzed up into political action, staying involved while the politicians wait to be voted on again. Go to nowwhat.network or look for the book on Amazon if you want more details on that one. We're not pushing that this week. But if you still want to be politically active, I'm not saying withholding sex is the best way to do that one. Your mileage may vary on that one. But you can do what you can do to make sure that people are hearing you, make sure that your rights are being attended to, your voice is being heard. Make sure you keep your voice heard, even if it's something like, you know, abstaining, if you will. That is the headlines for today. 10 stories that you deem conversational for the weekend. This is the part where we transition to our teaser section, the teaser story, which is teasing a story we could actually talk about come our next iteration. Happened to be Monday or Tuesday, since today is Monday. The teaser story part is about giving you an insight on what stories we kind of cover and how you can be a part of it. And it's simple. You follow us on our feeds. Our feeds are links on Facebook, on X, and on Threads. Threads.net/at this is the conversation project, or this is conversation, that one. Also x.com/th conversation and facebook.com/ this is the conversation project. And what you need to do is just as you check your feeds for various things on the day, doing your birthday checks, checking out how your side wants to chat about stuff, whether you want to do your own research on the Facebook or on X, you can see what we're talking about. Visit the stories we have going on. We post new news articles, links to them every 50 minutes or so on those platforms. And as you see them, we ask you to engage if you want to engage. If you see them in your feed, that's an engagement. If you click on it with an emoji face that gives you a like, a love, a hate, a share, that's an engagement. If you read it, just read them. That's an engagement. If you share it, it's an engagement. The more engagement a story gets, the better chance you have of talking about it on the next issue. The Luke Bryan story had so much crazy engagement on the story that seemed like a small, domestic thing that we had to cover it. Some of the stories could go back and forth. Now, what we had for today's stories were 10 stories from the top 30 stories of about 90 stories per the weekend. For tomorrow, we'll take 8 stories from the top 15 or so, top half or so stories, and about 30 for the day. And will we talk about Supreme Court Justice Sonia Sotomayor, who wants to remain in her post while some are asking her to step down. Now, we're not going to go deep into the story because we're talking about all day, but essentially, she's 7 years old. She is the senior liberal justice on the panel. And because there's only 2 months left until Biden's out of office, there are many afoot asking for Sotomayor to step down now so that Trump cannot replace her in her if she goes away in the next 4 years, and Biden can replace her like right now. And they want to replace her with Kamala Harris. I'm not kidding. Those things are out there. Sotomayor is like, yeah, I got a job to do. I ain't going nowhere. We will see if this works for all of us. We'll see if we talk about this story tomorrow as a teaser if you engage in it going into the morning. Now, the story we had for Friday was the racist text messages that we teased because I got a chance to post it in the Friday edition of the thing. And it was still viable. It didn't get quite as much as I thought it was going to, mostly because there were a lot of stories that really overplayed themselves this weekend. But it was viable. We want to get into that one, and this one has repercussions. We didn't want to go heavy election ish stuff, aftermath stuff here. We did do the 4B movement, obviously, but because that was a surprise. That one was another one that was way overbooked in its engagement as well. But that's how things work. Go through our feeds, see what we're talking about, and chat it up online so we can chat it together in a Tuesday edition of Things You Might Not Have Heard. Let's go to our spotlight sponsor for the day, Abspeed Zenni Optical, one of our biggest and longest running longest running sponsors. This optometricians, which I say wrong, they're they're salespeople. They're not actual doctors. I've been using Zenni Optical for 10 years, and I've been using them in sponsorship deals for about 7 or 8 years. So I've been using them as my main source for glasses for eyewear for a long time. Even had an instance where I had left. I was forcibly ejected from a job, and I know I worked someplace. And I was so used to having things delivered to the job, I bought a pair of glasses at Zenni, and the old um, finance officer called me up. It's like, "Hey, did you order some glasses?" I was like, "Yeah." I was wondering why they never showed up. Yeah, you must not have changed your address in your thing. Let me get them for you. And so I went up there and got them from there. I am so used to buying from them. I just click the button, I insert my new prescription, click the button, and go forward. And going forward, I'm looking not forward to, but I guess I'm looking forward to my next set of glasses, which will be progressives because it's that time. It is that time, and you can get yourself a good pair of glasses. Even their progressives, even their sunglasses, whatever you need to take care of them. You don't overpay for eyewear. You can get frames that start at 6.95. That's $6.95, not $695, and you don't have to pay money to send them back. These frames right here are $7 frames. I've been buying them over and over again, and I get great lenses to go with them, quality vision products, and it's easy to find a perfect pair from home. You can upload a picture yourself, and you can put the glasses on you virtually and see how they will look on you. They have also have 90-second vision testing kiosks at various locations. So somewhere out there, you may see a Zenni optical kiosk where you can stick your eyes in, get it checked, and go ahead and get yourself your prescription. You don't know how it goes. And just like just to check this out right now, you get $10, 10% off your first order for signing up. So check them out and you be like me or a repeat customer for many, many years. Go to our website because we have an affiliate link. We get a commission for you using this link. This is a conversationproject.com/Zenni. This is a conversationproject.com/Zenni. Zenni is Zenni. Zenni Optical is a great way to take care of your eyes for yourself, for your spouse, for your kids, for anyone you know. Affordable prices, affordable prices, quality product. Zenni Optical has you. Quick time to do a bit of a promotion for the Conversation Project. Conversation Project lives online at this. It's a conversationproject.com. At our online home, you can find the replays of the videos we have for things you might not have heard and also things you might ought to know. There's our daily programs and the weekly roundup where we take stories from the past week and go over ones that sort of hit different, that really had the biggest impact across the lines. And either you guys really engaged with them, or I thought, man, this is interesting. We need to talk more about this one going forward. We take good care of you as you take care of us by following us on our feeds and giving us stories to talk about. We also will provide for you more different takes and stuff. We take this longer video, chop it up into news clips in various forms on YouTube Shorts and on also TikTok. But we also have hot takes when we can and special drops when we can, time wise. I have a very engaging full time job, and not to brag or anything, but I'm you know pretty important dude. Things going on. I had to survive a tornado and everything. And so when we get more new stuff, we can. Now, if you guys help us out with more engagement, more followers, more things that are along the ways of more partners, more sponsorship stuff, more things that like joining the joining the YouTube page or buying some merch, that can help us and alleviate some of the extra things I have to do. That'd be great and help fund for what's conversation. We get better conversation stuff. And even easier, pay for more help, pay for consistent people. There are people who I can get in to help with volunteering here and there, but pay for more consistent help and have a staff. I would love to have a staff. You can help that happen. Go to the conversationproject.com and see all the ways that we do stuff. And if we sell you on that, join in as a partner or find more ways. Otherwise, follow us on the feeds and email us at the conversation inbox at gmail.com. With that, we're done for the morning. This has been Monday, November the 11th, 2024. It is Veterans Day, the day to honor all those who have served, also first responders as well. Toss them in there because they are serving as well. A day to commemorate those that in your past, your uncles, your aunts, the people that have gone before you who have served time and been there to help keep this nation free, keep this world free in a sense. So spend some time with a veteran, even a guy like me who didn't have such a stellar career, sat at the desk, bought some computers, drinking coffee. But the stories they will tell you and things they did do will be amazing, and just have some love for that. And if you are serving right now, um, hats off to you. I salute you as well for your service, your time for going through this struggle. So this is a struggle. Meantime, the struggle is real for getting the news out there. We will get out those stories, headlines every 50 minutes or so. I take pauses at work to make sure those headlines posted and see how things are being engaging. So I kind of have an idea what we're talking about in the next iteration. 8 stories for your Tuesday. You will tell us what's conversational. If you don't think it is, we probably won't talk about it. If you thought it was and we missed it, email us and tell us that we missed the story that you want to hear, and we'll pay more attention to the stories in the future. In the meantime, the future is when I click this button because at that point, this thing will be the past. See what I did there? Thank you so much for being part of the conversation, being part of the group. We love you. We mean it. We'll see you on the Tuesday edition of this show. Oh, coming up in about 3 minutes, we're going to click the button to end this and come with the things you might ought to know, where we're talking more about Veterans Day there and the history of it going forward, plus the birthdays and the things in history. We'll see you guys either in about 5 minutes if you watch me live or whenever you click on another one of these videos.